going for those smart kind of delayed backstab pushes, and it could set Virtus.pro in a weird spot, pushing for the sides.
And on the Virtus.pro, who's the man that can?
I mean, Taz on the A side, surviving for long, putting those anti-flashes in, because Dignitas really likes pushing A with set strategies. So I think him and Bialy on the A side is going to be really important with the support of Pasha.
Seems like a really simple thing to say, but Dignitas' work when the team don't have weapons has been one of their strongest points in this tournament. The work against eco rounds has just been so professional.
Yes.
They've given nothing cheaply away.
Yeah, they have probably one of the most solid anti-eco setups as a team, of any teams really. I don't think I've seen them lose against an eco this tournament, and that's really unusual since the update of the CZ coming.
How do you see the scene, the community at the moment? Is there still a #1, or are we really looking at many #1 teams?
I mean, you have to give NIP the #1 spot in the world, but you know, after DreamHack Summer that might change. I mean, if Virtus picks up another big tournament, that could push them up over the #1 spot. But it's getting a lot closer than when it was in the beginning of Go, where kind of NIP had this monstrous gap between the next team. So it's getting closer and closer.
And the next team was regularly locked in as being Titan or Very Games as well.
Yeah.
So now you've got so many teams fighting it out. So this tournament won't decide for you who is the #1 team in CS, even if someone like VP were to win it?
No, but it would definitely up the stocks, I guess, as any match does, and any tournament. And this is actually one of the most prestigious tournaments you can actually play online. So I'm not sure how much you can rate it, but LAN tournaments obviously have more stocks to it. But this is a very important big tournament.
Now, back in the good old days, you had the GotFrag rankings, which were the definitive rankings for CS 1.6 at least. It's an interesting one to say that the NIP is still the #1 team. But the last major they won, given that so many have gone by without them being there, is you know, you're now looking a way while back.
Yeah, and I mean, the last tournament they won was Copenhagen Games, but before that, I don't think they actually won a tournament for about 6 or 7 months.
Well, neither major went their way.
Yeah.
They lost it, but they were in both finals, which is at the same time you would give them points for being in the finals. So
yes.
It's a tough one.
It is, actually, with so many different challenges, and yeah, it's just crazy. It's impossible to rank.
Very exciting for the neutral.
Yes, it is.
We're underway on the pistol round. VP will start on the T side on the decider here in the winner bracket final between Dignitas and Virtus.pro.
And Dignitas, Virtus is going for some kind of B push with taking over mid from underground. Pasha is already up mid link, and Device is actually pushing apartments.
Pasha and will get himself the first frag. It's going to be Snacks gets the second for Virtus.pro. They are a man to the good, but Neo taking a lot of damage and will go down at the hands of Device. 3 on 3. Virtus.pro ready to make their push in. Taz connects with Zipnix, and the bomb is down on that B site from VP. AC's going to be the man just watching the rear. Does a whole world of damage to Snacks. And Bialy follows through with a shot through the smoke that on his second bite of the cherry becomes a headshot onto AC. Dignitas now with just Device, 1 on 3, and a bomb at B to contend with. This will be surely a VP pistol round, and they will start and rebuild that confidence after that demoralizing Dust performance.
Yeah, really interesting tactic from Virtus. They kind of left 2 people in B-apps with the bomb. They let Pasha push up mid-link. He got entry frag, and the rotation started to go towards A. And that's when Virtus just pushed B and kind of got the entry. And Dignitas couldn't really work the rotations out there.
It is now the round that has a surprisingly large importance given what we've seen so far in this game. this is A, the first pistol round that VP have won in this game, and B, VP have struggled to convert against eco rounds. So they started well here. In fact, they started very well. They're now only looking for one more frag as they will put that bomb down and lose Bjarly to it, who was down by Xyp9x, who was eyes on that bomb at all times. Pasha's going to go looking for him and should finish off the job, and does, as Virtus.pro down Dignitas, losing 2 men in the process.
Solid at the anti-eco. I mean, Dignitas is still happy with 2 kills. They didn't buy armor. They just had the C-sets in the pistols. So they're pretty happy with that performance as well. But as you said, converting the rounds has been the problem for Virtus, and they convert 1 now, so that's really important.
And they'll look to convert 1 into 2 and finish off the job.
They're kind of undecisive here. Virtus haven't really got any map control. They got mid, but haven't really seen anyone. The rotation is coming towards A. Pasha is kind of faking the short push. Smokes up mid link. Now got entry into the site.
Pasha opens up the killing, but stopped by Fetish. He'll get the gun as well. And now it'll be dupreeh down as Dignitas start to lose numbers. Fetish can't do anything with his weapon, and Dignitas can't do anything with their numbers as VP convert pistol into 3. And we'll now move on to Dignitas' first buy round.
Yeah, and Dignitas got a healthy buy round. They didn't buy armor on the second after losing the pistols, so they got decent nades. Fetish even picked up an AWP. And we'll see if they continue with the very, very defensive setups they've had previously.
Fetish pokes his head out, does 1, and might be able to finish off Neo. Has 1 point of health. The grenade does do exactly that, and that's what the doctor ordered for Dignitas as they look to close out this round. They've done a lot of damage to everybody else as well. They're 5 men to the good against 2 half men and 1 very, very wounded.
That was really interesting. They kind of caught Virtus off guard by pushing up mid, taking control over that, which they've never done in previous matches. It was a smart move by Dignitas.
Who is the brains behind this Dignitas side? Is it a team effort, or is there one man who's thinking outside the box?
I think it's Fetish. I mean, obviously in all teams, everyone comes with input, comes with ideas, but the final say is always the in-game leaders. And for this team, it's Fetish.
Snax gets himself a headshot onto dupreeh. 2 on 4 now as Device is about to see action from Bjarly. And it'll be Bjarly who gets himself the first frag in the end, down by AZ, who helps himself to the second. And Snax, and it is now 3-1. Dignitas back on the board.
From what I've noticed, is Virtus kind of always trying to push their luck with getting those entries, but always do a really good job in those lower numbers. They get it back, they get a kill, they get those entries with lower numbers. They might want to try and do something like that with 5 men instead of actually always working uphill. So seem to be setting up for an A push.
And you can see that Dignitas, though, have pushed out again. They've got 1 coming round to T-spawn side, and they already know a lot. They already know that, because of the pace of this, that there's going to be an A assault. And it will now take legs. As we concerned, there's 1 coming from behind him, but the action will already start at the bomb site as dupreeh and AZ help themselves to 2 kills. Device in with 2 of his own, and Virtus.pro are now left with just Taz, 1 versus 3, and he will fall at the first hurdle as a firing squad comes in, and Dignitas have their 2nd round in a row, and that just didn't work from Virtus.pro.
As I highlighted before, Device kind of likes to take those pushes, aggressive pushes, sneaky ones, and gets the information for Dignitas to set up their defense. And he knew, like right from the start of that round, that it was going to be an A play. The rotation came in, the anti-flashes, and Virtus really didn't have a chance in that one, with Device pushing so far up mid and coming from behind there.
Zipnik's wall banging down Snacks and will nade on top to the incoming VP players. And he's ready to close this one out with the help of AZ. And Dignitas will take themselves a comfortable eco. And we're tied up at 3-3 again. Virtus.pro, who won EMS Katowice, owed largely to this map. They were unstoppable on Mirage. But they're up against a team who like Mirage almost as much as they do.
Yeah, and I kind of want to see more standard play out from Virtus, but they kind of feel on their opponents. Because right now, Dignitas has a read on them, exactly as they did on the late half of Dust 2.
Fetish's AWP dispatches of Snacks. And
taking things slow. They want to take over mid before doing anything else. Neo is actually in a pretty good position here.
It's Neo that might spot Fetish to the left of the player we're following, but it's Device from behind. One headshot, follows up with the second kill. Pasha and Taz both down, and will it be frag number 3? With the help of Dupree it is. And suddenly, all of Neo's good positioning is completely undone. And, he will push in, gets himself one, but then goes up against 2 trained weapons on him. And Dignitas have 4 in a row now.
And Device once again comes from behind with an aggressive, sneaky push. This time, I think it was from A apartments instead of pushing up mid. So he has a sense for that push.
At the moment, Dignitas have got a sense for every move Virtus.pro might make. It's continued on from Dust.
Yeah, and it seems like Virtus might need a talk.
And you talk about, the fine margins that have, the rounds that Virtus.pro were winning when it was an individual play, when it was a Taz hat-trick, when it was a Neo something special. We haven't seen one of those in a while. There's, with the exception of Pasha, who went 1 on 4 and couldn't quite get the 5th against Zipnik's in Dust, we haven't seen one in maybe 20 rounds.
Yeah, and they really, really need that right now. They need to get that performance from someone to boost the morale of the team and kind of pick up the pace. And this eco is actually looking a lot better than the normal rounds, as they have more map control, they got a weapon, and Dignitas don't really have as much info there as they need.
Neo just poked his head round the corner, said hello to, I think it was Zipnik's down on B. It's like, all right, mate, I'm not going to bother you for the time being. And,
they're sneaking towards up A. I don't think Dignitas knows this yet.
Dupree will come around the back, get himself one. Device has the second. Bomb did get planted this time, but from Virtus.pro, but Neo eventually will be downed. And, well, the eco does result in a bomb plant, but it will also result in a 5th straight round for the Danes, who go 5-3 up. And we are going to take a brief break, in fact, because had a sound crash for one of the guys in server. So we will interrupt this. We're going to get back to us. Hello. Virtus.pro, they need some inspiration at the moment.
Yes.
If you were on that team, what would you be saying to them?
I kind of would want to play more loosely. They seem to be very, very good when they play these uphill battles with 2 on 4, kind of pushing their own will and doing things together like that, not forcing a push to a site, which they seem to be losing every single time. with Device coming up, sneaky positions from the start, pushing somewhere, and they don't really have all areas covered, and they might want to try and slow things down, kind of wait for that push from Device, kind of bait it out and get a kill on him, and that's where Dignitas informations come from. And yeah, they're making the perfect rotations to what Virtus is doing by Device's pushes. So try to stop that and play their own game.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, in fact, as this one might be a bit of a long one. So we'll be right back as Dignitas lead Virtus.pro by 5 rounds to 3.
Right here.
Hey, Blake and Benny here. Today we're testing the G430 with 7.1 Dolby surround sound. When you hear a sound, you point to where it's coming from. Snipers engage. Snipers? Ah! Right, left, front, back. Okay. Snipers disengage. 7 channels of digital audio versus duct tape. There's no competition. The G430 lets you hear what you can't see.
Adjustments will have to be made.
Dignitas versus Virtus.pro, and the Polish side find themselves in a bit of a quandary, as the Dignitas side have really had their number since the beginning of, well, since midway through Dust 2, and that has left Taz, Neo, and co being posed some tough questions.
Trying to push this A side again. Snack actually gets the entry this time, so seems to work out.
But again, you see that device push that you've called numerous times, Devil Walk. From behind, he is, well, deadly. As Dupree gets himself that. Fetish is going to get himself an AWP frag onto Neo. Still, 2 VP players up out in the open of A, and they won't be going anywhere. And Dignitas picked that one up, but no matter what they do, it seemed like they made a relatively safe entry. They got a number of men in towards the site, but they were thrown off by the push from Device from the rear. And at that point in, the rest of the Dignitas side just kind of pincered them.
Yeah, and they're still trying to force themselves into sites instead of like playing a bit more calmly, trying to get information before you do something. They kind of just force themselves without any information, trying to gamble their way into sites. And Dignitas, they kind of read this with Device, taking those random pushes and always at a different angle. He's pushed out mid, he's pushed A apartments, and now this time B apartments. So they cannot really figure him out.
It's Bialy who will get to see Taz. I think it's Taz that saw him first. Not Bialy, sorry.
This time they have control of a mid. Device isn't making any pushes.
Snax gets himself the frag onto AZ, but will be punished for it by Dupree. As Virtus.pro nade down Dupree, and it'll be Taz ready to make the push. Device shows himself, and the moment he did, they were ready to pounce. Neo gets himself the kill. It's Zipnix and Fetish against 4, and here comes Zipnix to try and stop the plant. Too late for that, as he'll now make his move in. He's got Pasha to his right. He will spy him, and he will get fragged by him. And now it is Fetish with his AWP, who will sit quite contently over on that B site and maybe go for an exit, because there won't be much money in these Virtus.pro coffers.
And we see how different Virtus plays when they don't try to force things. They're trying to get the info, they get the kill, they kind of pincer them down instead in those small angles, and they just get the entries, they get the kills, and that's what Virtus are known for, and that's how they play, and that's how they play the best one. And this round was seemingly easy for Virtus.
May have relieved a little bit of pressure as well, having lost so many rounds in a row. That was 6 straight rounds they lost, so they needed something, and they still need a lot more, remember.
Yeah, but the good thing is they stayed alive 4 people that round. They got plenty of money, so they don't get all money screwed next round if they lose this. So that's a good sign.
Dupree shows only his head, and that's exactly what Snax will take off as Virtus.pro get the opening 2 frags of this round. It's Fetish in that AWP, though, that will stop the rot as Snax came out through the door. Neo will try to chase down that
See how confused Dignitas is. They think they have the A side, but they just barely pushed out now.
Pasha and Taz get the kills. And it's AZ now who's the only man standing for Dignitas, up against 4 who are unleashing hell at his direction as he sprays in towards that site, not knowing much. And he has flashed himself. No one's going to be able to push that flash, though. But that will allow them to move the bomb over and get it planted. And in the end, finish him off. And they finish that round with 4 men up again.
Yeah, they should continue this side, try to peek, try to get the information, and try to get the peaks themselves instead of forcing themselves with smokes and flashes.
They've only tried B on eco rounds, Virtus.pro.
Yeah, they actually have. But Dignitas kind of... The thing is, Dignitas have 3 on A. But they still, with this kind of slow play style, with being small, aggressive everywhere, and trying to get the peaks.
Vital roll there from Neo. Fetish has done what he's done all game long. Pushed up mid and tried to get a kill. But Neo was there to immediately counter that. And take out the AWPer.
And Neo is in a great position here.
Delivers a headshot onto AZ, now looking for more, courtesy of Bialy, as well as they try to make this push back in towards A. Virtus.pro with a man advantage. Dupree on 10 points health, Neo on 6, but has 2 frags. And there is Neo, who will help himself to frag number 3. Finally down by Zipnix, but he's done his job. And it'll be Device to go through and get dropped by Taz. This should be another Virtus.pro round. 3 in a row as the confidence begins to flow back to them. And Zipnix comes in from CT Spawn up against 2, having got the kill on Bialy. And we'll feel this is doable with it for a man of his multiple talents. Charges in after the flash, but is going to be able to get there. And the game's all tied up at 6-6. And reports of Virtus.pro's demise have been greatly exaggerated, as the polls remind us just why they were so unstoppable on this map at Katowice.
Yeah, they should just continue what they're doing right now. They always have 4 men left against maybe a 4-on-2 situation when they just get the peaks, get the duels in themselves, and they do it in a safe kind of way. They take the peaks, kind of lure them into traps, and...
Oh, Fetish at the second bite of the cherry, dispatches of Pasha. And unlike last time, they won't be able to get him out now. As he will retreat back. Dupree with the frag onto Snacks, and Dignitas have the opening 2 frags of the round. Make that 3. Fetish comes in to get himself revenge on Neo for the last round. And now it's Bjarly, 1 on 5. Has got 2. And is a man that is no stranger to these situations. But the bomb is stuck in mid. And Bjarly's going to have to come a long way in 50 seconds to get there.
Yeah, they have the bomb in mid. 3 players looking, and AC in a great position here.
Bjarly going for Dupree first, but it'll be Dupree and AC who sandwich and finish off Bjarly. It's 7-6 with 2 to go in this first half.
This could be dangerous for Dignitas actually winning that round. They're pretty strapped for cash right now, and if Virtus pick this up, they could actually go ahead from this half. This being a CT favorite map, would be great for Virtus.
Pushes up, does spy one. It was Taz that was there who didn't land anything on him. Bjarly waiting to see whether anyone pushes down. And Virtus.pro, the one thing they've been able to stop since their mini comeback, you could say, has been Device, who they haven't been able to stop Fetish. He's roving and raging with frags, but Device has been anchored a little more to a more traditional defensive mindset.
Yeah, they're spraying themselves out, holding all the positions so Device cannot push. And let's see what they do from here. They seem like they're actually going to try and force themselves into a side again, which I'm not a fan of, seeing the previous rounds they've played. But this time they actually know that Device isn't coming from behind, because it seems like he has that role of Dignitas, and no one else really does it.
It'll be Fetish who will see action first. There is a man up there for Team Dignitas, and the bomb is, for Virtus.pro, and the bomb is moving that way as well. And Fetish lines up Pasha and dispatches of him. Second man will push, and here come Virtus.pro in towards the A site as Dupree helps himself to 1. Taz is the only one picking up frags at the moment for Virtus.pro. He has 2, and in fact it's Bjarly who has that 1 as the last man standing. Flashed and up against 3. Don't fancy his chances here, and Fetish will stop the run. It is 8-6 Dignitas now, and it'll be the last round of the first half as... reflecting on this, will you feel that Dignitas will have thought at one point they could have gone on and stomped VP, and from Virtus.pro's position, they will have felt under a lot of pressure, having offered nothing after the pistol round for 6 straight rounds. They'll feel a little bit relieved to be going in with 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 rounds is more than enough as a T-sided on this map. Dupree actually pushing underground this time around, getting Neo, and now an uphill battle for Virtus, but they're pretty good at those.
They do like to defy the odds. Virtus have lost Neo this round to Dupree, but that's about it. Taz waiting to see whether he comes around the back, and Device trying to push. Is punished once again as we go back to a 4 versus 4. And Snacks will rejoin the rest of the team.
And they have an AWP in CT spawn here, holding A. Which seems to be the place that Virtus is looking for an entrance.
Snacks taken down by Fetish's AWP. AZ will go down himself as Dupree and Fetish help themselves to more Polish blood, and it leaves just Taz left standing. 2 on 3 as he will make his way in now. And Taz caught right in the middle at that A site and then walked right onto the end of Fetish's hat-trick. And that'll be 9-6 half-time as Virtus.pro go in with a 3-round deficit. Dignitas, with a bit of wind in their sails, a really dominant dust, and a positive start here on Mirage. And who was the man for you that really shone that half?
I think Device with his info play, I mean, he didn't rack up that much kills, but every time he made a push, they won the round. So I think Device played that role perfectly. And yeah, otherwise, I mean, TAS in top of the scoreboard once again.
What do you make of AZ on Dignitas? Has had some big rounds. How is he making his transition?
I think Ace is kind of that player that does magic or maybe nothing at all. Like he gets that round. He can pick up a round by himself, or he just kind of crumbles together. But yeah, this half he hasn't been all that great, but Device and everyone else doing the work for them. So, but I think both teams is happy about this half.
Pharrell Williams plays loudly in the background.
And 4 Armors and Fetish is faking B pretty quickly here.
Push comes in towards that A site, and they'll see all the action as Dupree charges across. They're moving down towards CT spawn side, where Taz is going to immediately get chopped off by Dupree. And now AZ helps himself to a headshot onto Bialy. This is powerful play from Dignitas. Pasha, the only man who could offer some resistance. He's got 1 and 2, and now he's going to have to go big for 3 more. He does have help. He's got Snacks coming in, and Pasha goes looking for 1 more frag. It was Zipniks darting out down there as Pasha will chase him, look to finish off the job. He does. That's a hat-trick for Pasha, and here comes Snacks, and suddenly, despite a quick pom-pom and a slight covering, Dignitas are on the ropes. It's all on Dupree, 1 on 2, and Snacks will down him, and that was textbook play from Pasha and Snacks there to stop them getting, but he won't be able to get the defuse as Dignitas will get away with the narrowest of round victories.
Yeah, I mean, Dignitas seemed to have that fully under control, but Pasha just ran into the side and got 3 kills as Snacks backed him up as well. But it almost escalated for Dignitas. They almost got the defuse, 1 second away. But it should have been a much safer round win for Dignitas that time around.
With the money, Pasha was able to buy a scout, which was quickly chased down, you saw there.
And as we've seen previously, Dignitas is really, really good on these anti-ecos. Already gotten a lot of damage on Pasha. Who's bought a scout.
Scout power. There it is.
Dignitas making a push towards short. And there's only 1 guy holding B with rotation coming in.
It's going to be Taz seeing the action here. As he fires 1 coming in the end, before he can choose which one to fire at, they've all killed him. Now it's Neo at the back with his P250 and not much else. As he'll go down. Pasha's grenade does dispatch of Device, but Virtus.pro will retreat. They don't want to give away any more kills here, and they will hold on to as best they can. That scout. And I thought Pasha was a little bit confident jumping up there, and they did chase him down and finish him off. As Dignitas will go through. Now Bialy will get chased out as well. And Dignitas hunting down frag after frag and have themselves a 11-6 lead. They are 5 rounds away from the grand final here. Yeah. Prize allocation 10,000 for first place, 5 for second, and 2.5 for third and fourth.
Once again, they convert the round, even though Virtus actually bought that round. They bought a scout, they had 5-7s, they had armors, CZs, but only losing 1 man towards that buy. Dignitas set up with the same kind of setup they did last round. Very defensively top mid.
Time to see something a little bit bigger from Virtus.pro in these eco rounds, because they've failed to impress on them, full stop. Their gun rounds, you know, are delivering what you'd expect, but they don't have a plan B on eco rounds?
No, I don't really know. Dignitas seems to have no real like holes to poke at them. They play so defensively, and in some way they always know where to go, when to push aside and when to get the entrance. And yeah, they seem so sold on these anti-ecos. Good flashes.
Fetish leads the charge in towards the side as he pushes in for Dignitas. Now, AZ and Zipnix get themselves kills. Neo does offer momentary resistance. But it won't happen for them, as only Snacks is left standing after a bomb plant. That will take us to 12 rounds to 6. And it's time for VP to deliver.
So they do have a small amount of cash. I think Snacks is just wanna save his armor, so he will have full nades next round. And an interesting point, they should buy no head armor next round for the extra grenades on Virtus side. Let's see if they actually go for that.
Terrorists win.
6 rounds the difference. Virtus.pro need to go on a run here.
And no one went without head armor. And for those who don't know, since the AK actually one-shots you in the head, buying only armor and no head armor, saving you $350 for an extra nade or so.
Pasha dispatches of Dupree. AZ comes in with the headshot from his AK, but it is Neo who returns the favor. Taz is in there as well, and Virtus.pro come alive to the sound of fragging as they look to finish off the job in brutal fashion. It is now 12-7.
They didn't need that extra nade. 3 men alive from the last round puts them in a pretty solid position if they could string this round together. They're a bit strapped for cash since they had quite a few nades last turn. Device actually tries to take mid on his own. And the rest of Dignitas mounting up for an A push, throwing out those smokes, flashes coming in. And here comes the push.
Here you go, Dignitas led by AZ as he makes his way in towards the A site, navigating flash after flash, delivering headshot after headshot. Dignitas have got control of the A site unless Neo can do something about it. AZ will collect his hat trick and do so in some style. Pushes around towards CT spawn now. It's Dupree who will have to guard that bomb like a mother goose on her egg. AZ finally downed, but it's Snacks, the last man standing. 1 on 3. He won't want this. And he will peek, surely only to get an exit frag, but he becomes the fragged himself. And it is 13-7.
And AC coming up with those big kill rounds, always. If he gets one, he goes for more blood, and here we got it. He got 3 entry kills on the A side.
And considering he saw nothing until he saw that first frag.
Yeah.
He was blind as a bat.
Killed 3 people.
13-7 Dignitas. They're looking good for the win at the moment. Virtus.pro going to have to throw a real spanner in the works here. And on a eco round and their only CZ just went down. It's looking unlikely. But this is what we don't see from Virtus.pro on eco. They don't just sit back. Dignitas will barely have moved by the time the minute mark comes up.
Yeah. And they're really good at like disabling Virtus from actually getting information. Play so defensively, they hold every P, and once they make a push, it goes so quickly. And this time, Virtus actually has quite the read, going with the rotation towards B.
And they go towards that B site. Debris had the frag on Taz. Snacks is down. Neo will follow, and that leaves all on Bjarly to potentially get himself a kill, but won't do. And in fact, didn't do much damage either. And that'll be 14-7. Virtus.pro are in the last chance saloon.
Yeah, they really need this. They have low nades this time as well, but didn't matter last time. They won around the CT. And
Are you impressed by Dignitas, or are you disappointed by Virtus?
I'm more impressed by Dignitas, actually. They disable like any amount of information Virtus can get. They always lose a man trying to get information, and that's when they punish Virtus and goes towards that side, because no one else wants to look for the information they need to win the round when they lose men doing it. So Virtus is kind of like gambling. You have 3 guys on A, on B I mean. Or is it A? Is there a decoy here? Somewhere. There's 2 guys B, 3 guys on A. Pasha doesn't have any information in mid except for the smokes actually exploding. He doesn't know one is up mid link. He's kind of peeking very defensively short.
There is Pasha getting dropped by Dupree, who now take a quick peek in towards that A site. Sees very little. The 2 players are hiding away there, and will be joined now by Device and Fetish, and both of them will get kills, and that'll leave Virtus.pro with 8 match points to save, because Dignitas are rolling through them at the moment.
Yeah, they just set up the perfect map control, Dignitas. They get people in the perfect positions, and then in like 5 seconds the round is over when they execute the strat. So Dignitas is looking really, really dangerous, as this is the last chance for Virtus.pro.
It will be Dignitas advancing to the grand final. Remember, it's a winner bracket, loser bracket situation, though. This won't be the last you see of Virtus.pro, boys and girls. They'll go up against Titan, who themselves will be watching eagerly. Dupree gets himself a kill. Snacks in his shotgun have got 1 back. Easy goes down. Now Device and his friend Fetish will get the next. Dupree and Device combine onto Taz, and that will be that. 16-7 season was to be Virtus.pro's, but from that moment on, Dignitas absolutely destroyed VP. A powerful dust and a dominant Mirage.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by Dignitas. The way they disable the amount of information Virtus.pro gets from peaks. They always hit the shot. Fetish, he held mid link. Pasha went for sneaky peek, and he just instantly died. And they always had the number up and got it into the positions, set up their strategy, and just in a blink of an eye, they had everything lined up perfectly for them.
So Dignitas advance to the grand finals. They will face off against the winner of Virtus.pro versus Titan. To analyze all of that and more, we throw it over to Dan and James. Guys, your thoughts on that game?
Thanks a lot, Stuart. I think Devil really said everything, really, because Taz, he wasn't able to do the crazy clutches and just bring Virtus back from the brink that we've seen so far, but it was more, instead the AWPing of Fetish, it was more the early risky plays in the first 10 rounds with the flanks and the information from Device. James, do you want to expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, I mean, well, firstly, we need to give Virtus.pro credit for the pistol round. They had a lot of action on A, you know, coming from mid to A, and then got the plant on B on practically an empty site, which was good for them. So they got off to a good start and went 3-0 up. Then the first buy round from both sides, Virtus.pro had 2 people peak mid pretty quickly, and Fetish just blew them up. He got a tag, and then the other guy was left on, I think, like 14 HP, and he got naded, so straight to a 5-on-3. You know, and it kind of, that was the beginning, was a sign of things to come. Fetish, his AWP was so strong on the CC side. He was causing havoc on mid, on A. He was a very key player for the team on that side. And again, we had a lot of psychic flanks from Dignitas. Pretty much your normal setup on terrorist side, as we said previously, is you've got 1 guy going towards A, 2 mid, 1 underpass, and 1 B. However, in the first 9 rounds, Virtus.pro they had a hole. They left something empty, and every single time Dignitas just pushed that exact place. Like they had, I think it was, who was the guy who was pushing mid? It was Device. But Device was pushing mid when it was 3-2, got valuable info, then they stacked A and defended it really well. The next round, Device did a flank again, then we had another flank from B. So they were in a position to have extra men on sites to defend when, you know, when it was necessary, and then it ended up being 6-9 to Dignitas on the CT side. And one good thing they did on A when Virtus.pro went for a push was they had one of their players in shadow here, and they basically Dupree, yeah, and they smoked off this area, they smoked off this area, and they may have had a smoke over there. So basically, it made it very difficult for the terrorists to find any hiding spots on the site, any positions to get the bomb down. And there was the slightest gap through here, so their CT here could take out the terrorists while they were crossing this area. It was really something we haven't really seen before in Mirage. We're seeing a lot of the last 2 days. We've seen a lot of new tactics on Mirage in terms of A pushes and A holds, and that was a really interesting one for the Dignitas side. When it came down to the second half, Virtus.pro were very, very, very unlucky to get that defuse. They were all of half a second away from that defuse, and again, the score was already 9-6 at Dignitas, and then that allowed them to get another 3 rounds. So it's 6-12 Dignitas. So you know they've got a fairly chunky lead at this point. Then Dignitas try to rush into A, and doesn't really work out for them. Virtus.pro took the round in almost 30 seconds, and it was less than 30 seconds, and you know it's 7-12. Then Dignitas did pretty much the same thing straight afterwards, but the previous round they had some guys mid, but this time they just all bum rushed A, and they took the round again, which made it 13-7, and it meant that Virtus.pro had to eco again, which means that they're just, you know, Dignitas are just building a bigger and bigger lead. So Virtus.pro were never able to get economically going. Basically, every time they lost a round, then they had to concede another round because they had to eco and try and save some money to try and get back into the game. So it was just because of how those rounds went, it was just insurmountable for them. They didn't have the money to be able to hold a consistent defense.
I think that's a pretty darn good summary. I can't really fill any gaps in that one. It was honestly just a fantastic performance from Dignitas, and considering how strong Virtus.pro were looking at the beginning of today on season, how strong they were looking just generally, I mean, Dignitas, they really showed their class, their experience, and they weren't fearful at all. They just stuck to their game, and it worked out really well for them. So definitely we're going to see that rematch. We're going to see Titan and Virtus.pro. And Titan is a team that we know can do so well. That could be the best in the world. They've got such sick potential. Their skill ceiling is so darn high. But can they learn from their recent results against Virtus.pro? I'm quite curious. What do you think we're going to see in that one, James?
Well, it's a good question, actually, because I think, just going back to this match for a second, I think they may have underestimated the AWP on Fetish. I think Kenny S is kind of like Ronaldo now. It's like you've got to mark him out of the game one way or another, be it by just leaving him in a zone where he can't cause any havoc, or just, you know, trying to annihilate him and keep him off the AWP. So, but then we've seen Titan adjust to that. Yesterday when they played Mirage, one thing I forgot to mention was they had Kenny S in mid, but then you saw him, suddenly he was in A, suddenly he was in B. He was all over the place. He was kind of like Dokes in Dexter, like he's like surprise and just blowing people's heads off. So, you know, if they can mix up Kenny S and make him unpredictable, then it's going to be hard for Virtus.pro to keep him out of the game, and then we can see how much of a factor Kenny S can be. So again, it depends on the map picks and how they play Kenny S, and how Virtus.pro adjust to that, basically, and if they can keep him off the AWP.
All right, well, I think there's a lot of people really watching Titan and expecting huge results, expecting much more, and we're going to see that very shortly, guys, so stay tuned. We'll hit up a quick break, and we'll be back with Titan and Virtus.pro.